lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the back car starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
race fans, and welcome to a thrilling night of racing here at Richmond Raceway. It's a perfect evening for short track action as the Glove Station ARCA Series takes center stage on this historic 3/4 mile oval. Tonight we're in for some hard-fought racing under the lights where the drivers will battle bumper to bumper, pushing their cars and their nerves to the absolute limit. I'm Dave Regal, and joining me, as always, is the insightful Jordan Brockel, and it's a night full of anticipation, excitement, and strategy as the drivers prepare for 100 laps of wheel-to-wheel action. Richmond is known for its close-quarter racing, and tonight we expect nothing less. The short track layout may be compact, but the competition here is anything but small. With tight turns, multiple grooves, and a very unforgiving wall on the outside, there's no room for error, and every inch matters. We've got some rising stars in the AM division continuing to challenge the pros, and with the championship picture heating up, every point is crucial. As the engines roar to life, we're set for a high-speed chess match tonight. The pit strategy, tire management, and positioning on the track will all play key roles in who will walk away victorious. It's a race where every lap counts, and one mistake could change everything. So get ready for some heart-pounding action as the Glove Station ARCA Series takes on Richmond Raceway. We're here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we'll be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Jordan, as always, as we come in here the day after the Super Bowl, perhaps you tuned into that last night for a little while. I just want to say congratulations to you and the rest of Eagles Nation. But tonight, this is all about the Glove Station ARCA Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, super happy about that, and may or may not have had some tears shed over that. But aside from that, I'm super excited tonight for this race. Is this 3/4 oval, 3/4 of a mile oval is one of my favorites to go to in real world, in sim. It runs so much differently than a lot of these tracks. It's got that D-shaped configuration that we typically see at most tracks, but it allows for some higher speed corners than some of these short tracks, and we've seen a lot of run-ins in the real world around this place, and the sim world is no slouch with that either.
Yeah, sometimes I think that's how we know that iRacing is the real deal. Because, the things that happen in the real world literally happen here on the virtual track as well. And speaking of the real world, the points are becoming extremely real right now. As we take a look at our standings, Chris Morris Jr. with a pair of wins, and Andy Kurtz picking up the W last week in the Pro Division. We'll talk about him in just a moment. Eddie Smith in third, Jake Ellingson in fourth over here in the Pro Division. And I'll tell you what, that Pro Division, I've been watching those guys, and some of them are really starting to sweat it out while they run around. The AM drivers, which of course are led by David Calvert, who picks up his third win last week at Phoenix. And then, of course, Alan Smith also with a W this season. Jeremiah Holt, Cliff Adams, those are your top four. Devin Smith rounds out the top five in the AM division. And, the Pro Division, some of those guys truly are starting to sweat things out as this season has been getting deeper and deeper. All things considered, I'm watching some of these AM drivers challenge the pro drivers as if they're coming for their lunch money.
Yeah, I mean, they're continuously getting faster and faster each and every week, finding ways to put themselves in position to maybe be one of those first true win AM drivers. So, I mean, these guys are all fighting for points in their respective divisions, so those pro drivers are not going to really want to give up any spaces to AM drivers. But it's only going to get more and more difficult to hold them back as they get more and more confidence throughout this season.
Yeah, and as I had mentioned, Andy Kurtz gets the win there in Phoenix last week. He was followed by Eddie Smith and Casey Jones. And I'll tell you what, all things considered, watching those guys go at it last week was just this side of incredible. And, then of course we want to talk about our AM driver. And, as you mentioned, I think there's a reasonable chance here where we may see one of those AM drivers pick up the natural win, if you will. Of course, David Calvert finished in fifth, and Jeremiah Holt and Mark Cofield rounded out the AM podium last week. And, of course, we want to thank everybody for tuning in last week and tonight here. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as things have gotten warmed up here as qualifying is underway, as, things at Richmond are where we really need to pay attention to tonight. April 2024 was the first race in the round of 8 for ARCA's Richmond run last year. Andy Kurtz captured his third playoff win in a row last year here. Jamie Mullins was in second, and Tanner Bethia was in third. And there were only 4 cautions in a race at Richmond, which just, for those of us who have been around this sport for a long time, that's enough to blow your mind. Jamie Mullins picked up his first win of the season and clinched the regular season championship in the pro division, and Andrew Hennessy and Jacob Ellingson completed the pro podium. In the AM division, Jim Kaufman captured his second division win in a row, and Chuck Feltz earned his second division, and Josh Unger had his first, and actually Josh Unger was a SimRig recipient, and he got his first division podium in his rookie season. So, here's the thing. I'm looking at a lot of what we saw last year here at this racetrack, and I'm wondering if they can pull it off again. 4 cautions at Richmond it's like the white whale.
Yeah, I mean, because for a track that's nicknamed the action track, it's kind of unheard of to have that little amount of cautions. I mean, certainly you probably had your run-ins, your bumps, your runs, your door banging. And, I look to see some of that, especially with having such lower temperatures tonight, 71 degree air, 72 on track. So, I mean, it's going to be gripped up. We've seen that these things are kind of chaotic and all over the track, like we saw last week, where they kind of just would slide through corners. And, we were seeing them go through the dog leg and everything, so they were kind of off balance. But, with this track, I think we're going to see some people probably push the limits of corner entry, corner exit by going in a little deeper and trying to fire off quicker. And I mean, I think we're going to see some of the same kind of gripped up, but also kind of on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the interesting things when you're at a 3/4 mile track. I mean, we some of the short tracks in our sport have some of the wildest distances. We've got like the half mile, fine. You've got a 1 mile, fine. All of a sudden, 3/4, we've seen 5/8. You see like 3/16 of a mile, like some really weird stuff. And even more so, when you see this place in real life, I mean, it is just amazing to see all the people that they cram in around here, because there is not an empty section for grandstand. It's one of the few places in NASCAR where there is nothing but grandstand, and they cram them in here in Richmond. Of course, once the summertime heats up in the real world, you can catch the race here at Richmond Raceway and then head on over to see the Flying Squirrels in the AA baseball facility on the other side of town. Kind of exciting. And, all things considered, Richmond puts on a heck of a show, and I think that we're going to see that tonight, as it looks like Jake Ellingson is going to be our pole sitter this evening. Your pole award comes courtesy of the fine folks at Jam Printing and Promotions. We want to thank them for riding along with us every week here on Sim Racing Media, as they get to bring you all of the action. As we find Jake Ellingson, there he is for the pole award. And, one of the things that I got to say about Jam Printing and Promotions is that they are a group of very loyal folks. And they're out of Plainfield, Indiana, and they are local and veteran certified. And when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they, of course, sponsor our pole award here every week in the Glove Station ARCA series. We also want to thank our good friends at Glove Station. We want to thank them for partnering with GLR and making this possible every week here on Sim Racing Media, as drivers have now begun to crawl into the race cars. Oh, where did that go? That didn't belong there. I apologize. As we drop down trackside, and that's why. because Jake Ellingson and Jonah Colbert are not in their race cars yet. As we're waiting for the front row to come in, we want to thank all of you as we can hear those cars have fired here on the front side. And we want to thank our friends at Glove Station. As I mentioned, here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, we want to thank Glove Station for checking in with us every week here. As Jonah Colbert gets into the race car in the race graphics number 31 machine, waiting for Jake Ellingson, who is going to start from the pit.
I feel like this is where I pull out. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that works for him.
Yeah, I'm starting to be curious here. I don't see any penalties. They are pending review, is the last note that we have from our race director.
Yeah, so that's certainly going to be it's going to be a tough one for him as well. I mean, I see Eddie Smith still on pit road as well, and maybe it's something that from last week, possibly. Not sure.
As we work our way down into turns 3 and 4, we want to thank all of you for getting in here with us. As all 26 of these drivers are ready to go, the iRacing.com pace car is off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Oh, no, it's not. Just kidding. They're going to delay the start of the race.
They juked us.
They got me. It's not often that happens, but it gives us an extra minute here to talk about Jake Ellingson, who is one of our race directors, so I don't know if that has something to do with him starting from the pits. But he and Daniel Craighill, I'll tell you what, I've gotten to know Dan really well. And, of course, we want to thank him for all of the hard work that he puts in as the iRacing.com pace car again brings us down pit road, or down the backstretch, I'm sorry, as we start to work around here. There we go, working our way into turns 3 and 4. The iRacing.com pace car is off. It's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air and underway we are from Richmond.
Not giving an inch here right off the start. Side-by-side drag race down the back, and there's a caution.
Well, that's a quick caution for the night here. Maybe we can hopefully make that go away over time. We'll have to take a look. Let's see what we have going on. Looks like this may have been involving Tanner Bethea. We're going to take a peek here. Bethea here in the 20 machine. Oh. Yeah, the oath. Jeez, of Christmas.
Yeah,
that's an interesting. That's Brian Frohager.
Oh, and then I see all of a sudden here we're popping up just a bunch of names. Red. I don't know if maybe these guys are just people who are pulled over.
Yeah, that's going to be guys pulled over to avoid penalties.
It scared me. I see a sea of red.
And this is the image. Well, let's see if we can find another angle of that. Right at the start-finish line. Well, an interesting start to tonight's race, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to start your race, backward, facing backwards on the track. If you got a not a great strategy, but I mean, hey, plenty of time for him to get all that, you know, worked out and straightened back out so he can make a run and get his composure back.
I want to take a brief moment here, as of course we want to make sure that we bring up our Warrior Spotlight for the evening. And of course, this month's Warrior Spotlight of the month is our very own Daniel Craig here, one of our 2 series directors here in the ARCA series. As of course, you know, he's been with GLR since 2023. He's an EMT by day, and obviously a St. Louis Blues fan by night. And I'll tell you what, man, I got to know Dan over the last few weeks, you know, with us working together here. And I just think he is such an awesome dude. He's been an EMT with AMR in St. Louis for 6 years. And in addition to providing private 911 and transfer services, he's also part of AMR's emergency response team. He's deployed for 22 weeks to Chicago and New York to provide support during the COVID crisis, as well as to Eastern Tennessee and North Carolina for hurricane relief. Dan also serves as an admin here at GLR, and we thank him for all that he does for his community and us here at GLR. He certainly could not get it done here, or we certainly couldn't get it done here on a Monday night without him. So, as always, I want to thank my brother here for his service. As everybody who's strapped the helmet on knows that it is, sometimes it feels like it's a thankless job to go out there and do what he does every day. But meanwhile, back at the race, the iRacing.com pace car peels on off. Tyler Justice with control of the field. He hits the Geico restart zone, and we're back underway on lap number 6.
A lot better of a jump there by Justice this time around. Clears him before turn 1. Saw him, them kind of drag racing down the backstretch to start, but, you know, this time a lot cleaner as we're under our 2nd caution now.
Two cautions, 7 laps. Let's see what happened here. Now, this may have involved Andrew Camus, perhaps Doug Ellison. We're watching Jeremiah Holt here at the moment. So definitely not him.
Another little bit of a
here.
Oh! 58,
51,
3, 117 and 19. Oh, the 43. Dove through that thing.
This may have involved 51 here. Oh!
I don't think the 58 of Doug Ellingson. Ellingson.
You can read.
I don't think he expected him to kind of check up the way he did. I mean, that's a you know, these things don't have real taillights. It's kind of hard to know when somebody gets on the binders or lets off the gas. If you're not ready for it, you're in the tail end of them.
Yeah. Boy. To your point, I think one of the things that I'm noticing here as we run this back again, you know, he was definitely not on the throttle coming through was Unger. I just think the 51 got on him a lot harder than Ellingson thought.
Yeah, and it's not one of those things where, you know, he was off throttle for a long period of time or on the brakes for a long period of time. Just a half of a second, not even a half a second, is all the difference it takes, you know, to make that closing speed, you know, tremendous. I mean, you're going, you know, about 80, 90, and you got to get on those binders if you're, you know, you want to make the corner the way that you want to make the corner, and, you know, that changes the closing speed, distance rather greatly.
Rather greatly.
Public education. What? Yeah, there we go. Public
Hurt
education.
yourself, kid. He pop anonymous.
He pop it. I'm gonna.
Oh no! Stay away from the rabbit hole. And from Ray Ellingson, Jake is starting from the pits from a penalty last week, so that was the deal there. Sophie Marquez is checking in, saying, "Good luck, everyone." So we get to hear from Ray and Sophie tonight. Thank you. Folks, make sure that you do tune in here on YouTube and subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live. As the green flag flies, 12 laps now, Tyler Justice controls the field. Let's see if we can get a good run going here. A lot of those yellow spoilers and windshields, that's telling us that those are all AM drivers. They coincide with the names in red banners here on our timing tower. Watching the 34 of Casey Jones and CJ here running to the high side now. Oh my, David Calvert, maybe there may have been an issue there. As I just watched him disappear. All over the rear bumper of Calvert is the 34.
Like I said, that's all about that closing distance. You know, you take a corner different than somebody, and you're not expecting them to slow up or take off as soon as they do, and you got to kind of be on your toes the entire time around a track like Richmond.
Watching the number 99 Black Rifle coffee machine, I'll tell you what, all things considered, I'm literally drinking Black Rifle coffee right now. And it is absolutely delicious, and so is this racing here at Richmond Raceway. Oh, the 21 is off track. That's Chris Oh!
You can't park there.
You can't park like that. I don't know how you think you're going to get the groceries into that car if it's upside down. Let's take a look here at the replay. This ought to be interesting. Let's watch the 21. He's got the 24 of Devin Smith behind. Oh, dear. The 34 who is running kind of wild. And then...
Oh, and that's one of those painful flips where it's so slow, and you're just. I think of the Cleveland when the hub slides out of the house, and he's like, no.
That's exactly what we're watching right there. Cleveland just fell with no pants out of the front of his house here, as we're going to go on board. And here we are on board with Sean Pope McCarthy.
Yeah, you can hear he's already kind of just over that cushion where the car kind of is light. Wow, English is not good today. It's weightless.
Here's the thing with Sean, and from that perspective, for starters, if you look at the front end of these cars, they are kind of wedge shaped, and I guess my question would be, if you do happen to get under someone like that, is that thing wedged enough to get underneath it? I guess the answer is yes.
Survey
as we work here on lap number 17 of 100.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw this in the truck series last night. We had a couple quick cautions, and then we ran green for an extended period of time. So I think once these guys get their wits about them and kind of settle into their rigs and work out the formulate their plan and everything of that nature, we're going to see these long green flag laps. So a lot of these guys are going to just keep trying to tick off these positions to get themselves into a good spot and work their magic and get these green flag runs going, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's just, again, cold tires. It's kind of hard to kind of hang on to these things. They're not getting a long enough cycle that they're getting any real wear in them, so you're still kind of on fresh tires. So we're just going to have to, watch these guys, work their magic.
We've got the 1 to go sign here as Barney's got the caution flag in the air up there in the flag stand. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us through turns 1 and 2 once again. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on YouTube.com. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you, as always, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As Jonah Colbert going to be our leader when we come back to green. He'll be followed by Josh Lokovitz, Tyler Justice, Jeremiah Holt, and Cliff Adams, your top 5. As Colbert here in the race graphics, number 31, watches the pace car dip away. The green flag flies, and off we go.
Huge jump that time, and he didn't have to worry about fighting Justice on the outside or inside of him this time around. So able to set sail here. As it looks like Holt thought about 3 wide for just a moment.
Watching the 44 Mountain Dew machine here, piloted by John Hoocham. He's got the Family Channel machine of Eddie Smith side by side right now. They immediately exchanged some paint. A couple of throwback logos. For those of you folks that are too young to remember, the Family Channel is what became what is now Freeform about 30 years ago. It's now the 97. Oh my God. Oh, sweet mother of Jesus.
Yeah, that was a kind of a big one here at Richmond, which you don't typically see that kind of magnitude of a crash here.
Watch the 44 here. This all happened ahead. The 34 and the 16 tangled. We're going to have to look at that maybe from a different angle.
I will say the 87 machine there of Eddie Smith, being able to get on the binders and dive to the apron like he did and not even get a scratch was magnificent.
Yeah, the 24 and the 16 got tangled, then the 16 collects the 34, the 44, and oi, aye.
I'm also pretty sure the 97 might have shot the gap there. I could be looking at it wrong.
I'm pretty sure they hit everything but the infield, and then they went landscaping. Here they come from another perspective as they're wrecking. Everybody kind of bouncing off that wall to start finish. Oh my God.
Mark Cofield shooting the gap straight through the uprights. Give him 3 points.
Oh my. We're going to see if we can maybe get this from the gyro cam inside of the 24 of Devin Smith. Out of Brownsburg, Indiana, here's Devin Smith. He gets put into the wall. Oh. A couple of things there, Jordan, that I'm picking up just as we're watching this in replay mode. Didn't hear a whole lot of effort to get on the binders and hold steady.
Well, I mean, I think he thought he was good after he got into the wall. And then all of a sudden he gets, left reared from everything that's happening to the inside. And it was just on like Donkey Kong from there.
25 laps in the books. 26 now as we pass the start and finish line. We want to thank all of you for tuning in. Of course, we want to thank our friends at Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, they are our primary sponsor. We also want to thank our good friends over and Above the Yellow Line in 2021. Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen began as a podcast fueled by a passion for motorsports and a desire to build community. What started as a simple idea has grown into something far beyond what she could have imagined, and the green flag waves again I do want to mention that Taylor Kitchen took home third place for her podcast on Above the Yellow Line. We saw that today on the old Tip Top. So congrats to Taylor. Without her, we wouldn't have been in contact with these folks as we are finally getting back underway. Nearly a 3-wide situation. Watch the 43 of Sky Shrek. Now the 27 of Jake Ellingson looks to the inside. He's going to haul it down there, and they do go 3 wide for just a moment.
Ooh, squeezes there.
Baby.
I'm going to give that car a name right now and say it now. The DeJean Machine.
Oh, my gosh. It even says it on the side. Caution. As we are now going to be under our 5th caution that passes our total from last year's race. Sky Shrek out of Norman, Oklahoma.
The DeJean Machine.
Here's an interesting thing. Sky Shrek out of Norman, Oklahoma may know one of the drivers from Sunday Night NASCAR, Brandon Minto. Good friend of mine. Gonna have to find out. Of course, it says "Go Birds" on the side of Sky's car, and that really hurts my heart right now.
Hey,
as we've got
the
30 laps in
DeJean
the books.
Machine.
We also want to thank Save 22. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization that is dedicated to providing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. We support those who have served our nation and communities by listening to their stories and providing unwavering support, ensuring they are never alone or forgotten. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. And they, of course, are the sponsor of Go Talk Live. And what a cool podcast. You can check them out, of course, every week. I want to thank them for all of their support. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockel live here at Richmond Raceway. You're watching the Glove Station ARCA series on Sim Racing Media. As, of course, we've got 100 laps on the books tonight, and quite frankly, Jordan, had a little bit of a struggle getting out of this first third of the race.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a short track. It's expected. You don't necessarily expect to be, 100 laps straight, green flag. You expect to have these kinds of miscues, and as this field, kind of, dwindles down a little bit, it's going to get, faster. It's going to get a little bit more cleaner. It's just what comes with the territory. I mean, we have, I want to say 27 cars currently running on the track, and I mean, that's a ton for a short track.
I mean, in all seriousness now, we were talking about the fact that it was almost a mind-blowing experience or thought to think that there were just 4 cautions in last year's race here in Richmond. Not the case tonight. And for lack of a better term, this is more what we expect in a place like Richmond. So, of course, all things considered, let's get back to racing. As drivers shuffling around on the racetrack, 33 laps, that's that third of the way through the race. As we're watching the 87 and the 13, that's Jamie Libke in the 13, just behind the 87 of Eddie Smith. Cliff Adams to the high side. We're under caution on lap 33.
I believe I saw Brandon Wallace. I don't know if he was the initial tag, but he did get tagged and sent around.
Let's take a look. And this is the Black Rifle Coffee Machine. Oi!
Mark Cofield. Oh, our 3-time winner of the AM division, David Calvert, went for a ride there too as well.
Let's see if we can get this from the blimp cam. As the blimp cam was just atop what was going on. And they're all going to get collected. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Oi, whoa.
Yeah, Calvert almost had a... he was almost an instrument of destruction through the catch fence there.
Well, and the 97 here of Mark Hofield could not find a place to hide.
He got hit in every single direction.
Yeah, I don't think there was a piece on that car that wasn't affected.
And then Ellingson comes in at the end and almost gets it.
Another shot of this one. We managed to stay in that right between our cameras, of course. Thought maybe we had a cameraman down in that particular well. As we are under caution number 6 for the evening. And while we get ready to rack them, stack them, and do this all over again, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank all of you for tuning in. I'm Dave Regal, he's Jordan Brockell, and this is the Glove Station ARCA Series, part of Goat Locker Racing. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway. We're here on lap number 38. We've gone back to Green Flag Racing. Jonah Colbert, your race leader, Dave Regal, and George Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as we've got a full night of racing going on here in the state that is for lovers, Virginia. On lap number 39, just about 40% of this race done.
Yeah, and it's going to start picking up even more. You know, these guys are going to get impatient with, especially with how quick these cautions have been coming out. Not a lot of ability to move throughout the field. So, you know, these guys are going to be impatient, if you can say the least. Timothy Williams working that inside line, trying to get past the 117, but Lauren Clayton's going to get clear and send himself off as Sean Pope McCarthy to the outside. He's looking to take that spot from the 86 machine there, really working it on the outside, which is not something you typically see around a track like Richmond, and, you know, outside line working in that kind of way. Jake Ellingson started from the pits, finds his way up to the third position here after qualifying on the pole, starting from the pits for from a penalty. Josh Lokenvitz fighting on the outside of Christopher Morris Jr. and Eddie Smith here. Eddie Smith trying to work his way up. He's up 16 spots from the beginning of this race here. Morris looks to the inside of Jeremiah Holt. Let's send it in there side by side, door to door. Eddie Smith side by side with Holt, real tight there, but he's going to force his way past. He's going to force his way, but don't look now. Lokenvitz is looking to the inside there. A little bit of a delayed crossover there from Lokenvitz, and the 43 machine's going to get Jeremiah Holt and spin him around. And that's going to bring out our 7th caution of the night. So it looks like Jeremiah Holt and Sky Shrek were just kind of fighting for a position there. That's the 117 of Warren Clayton sitting on the backstretch as well here. Yeah, and it was, you know, Sky Shrek just kind of looking to the inside there of Jeremiah Holt and just kind of getting a hold of him.
Watching Sky here in the 43. Wait.
Doesn't even look like there was a natural contact there. Oh, Holt getting pummeled.
That was natural.
That was certainly natural.
It was not netcode.
Cool. Some hard licks there.
"47 laps in the books tonight, just about halfway through this race. It's been an interesting one, that's for sure here. Of course, we want to thank our Pole Award presenter, Jam Printing and Promotions, out of Plainfield, Indiana. They are local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, and decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. And of course, GLR is an incredible organization, of course, a 501c3, with the goal of helping veterans through, you know, of course, iRacing. In this particular application, they hook these guys up with, you know, a full racing rig and, you know, all of the accoutrements that iRacing requires. What they really do is they bring a community together. And to me, I think what GLR does is incredible. Goat Locker Racing kind of came out of nowhere after a conversation that I had with Tim Kitchen. And, you know, when I heard their mission and what they do here at GLR, I was absolutely thrilled to become a part of this group. As Jonah Colbert takes the green flag, we're watching Tyler Justice here in the 33. He works to the inside now of the 87 of Eddie Smith.
And, you know, to kind of just touch on what you said about this group, you know, it's kind of hard to just call it a group at this point even anyway. It's more of a family, like it says right there on the 87 machine of Eddie Smith. These guys just welcome you in open arms, and, you know, they just want to get a group of guys together, do something we all love, and, you know, take care of those that, you know, should have the most care taken of, and that's, you know, veterans and everything of that nature. So it's a ton of pride from myself to be able to be considered to do it.
Absolutely. As we watch the 79 of Josh Lokenvitz here in the glove station. In the glove station, number 79, working to the inside of the Veterans for Life, number 33 of Tyler Justice. They're drag racing right now, and neither's giving either any room. This is a battle for fourth position, a pair of pro drivers. Of course, a lot of those AM drivers buried from about 10th on back. As we work here on lap number 52. I'll tell you what, at this point, is kind of an interesting split here to watch some of these guys go at it the way that they are. Only a couple of pro drivers mixed in below the top 6. And right now the pro drivers are showing why they are.
Yeah, they've got a full handle of this top 5, just a little bit more to the 6th position, as Adams actually looks to the inside of McCarthy there.
Caution number 8 flies, as Josh Unger may have been involved in this one. We'll have to take a quick peek here. Watch Josh Unger here in the 51 to the high side. That's the Glove Station ARCA Series Chevrolet. Oh, it actually originated with the 03. That's Brian Frauheiger. Let's see if we can take another peek at this. Yeah, Frauheiger might have gotten a little tight and washed up the racetrack, as pit stops are underway now. 55 laps in the books. This is going to be kind of an interesting pit stop for most of these drivers. Now you got to remember, these pit stops aren't near as fast as what you see in the Xfinity or the Cup level. So things are a lot more calm down on pit road. Drivers taking their time, getting themselves all settled in here. About a 15-second pit stop for Jonah Colbert, 15.5 for Josh here in the 79. And when they come off a pit road, and as we get ready to go back green flag racing, it's going to be Jake Ellingson, Timothy Wilness, Chuck Pegleg Feltz, Chris Morse Jr., Mark Cofield, Brandon Wallace, Jeremiah Holt, John Hugin, Alan Smith, and Sky Schreck, your top 10. Ray Ellingson says that the 58 parked it for the night. Doug's fun meter was pegged.
Yeah, certainly sucks to pull it off the track early, but Doug has been a good runner here lately as well, so it's surprising to see him out. He usually hangs in there the entire race, and has even fought up front a little bit, fighting for top 10. So I do want to point out that top 10 currently littered with a good bit of red there.
That's something we don't see too often. Now, Jake Ellingson hasn't been down to pit road just yet, as he had started from down there. Timothy Wilness came down on lap 29. In fact, let's look at some of these pit strategies here. Almost everybody is on something different. In fact, as I'm looking at this top 10, everybody is on something different.
Yeah, it's certainly hard to have a strategy with the cautions we've had. They go back green flag racing. Ellingson back at the lead where he would have started had he not started from the pit. But, he takes over that lead, and he's going to fight every inch to pull away here.
Well, obviously he wasn't worried about starting from the pits, as we're here at lap number 58. Side by side goes the 75 of Chuck Pegleg Feltz with the 81, and now the 81 pulls away. Jeremiah Holt in the 70. Uh-oh. Trouble. Oh!
Oh!
Good gravy. Mark Cofield, and right now the 31 and the 24 are doing their Lady and the Tramp impression.
I was going to say they were jousting.
No, they just remind me that they just reminded me of the two puppies from Lady and the Tramp there at the very end. Let's watch and see what happened here. Good God. this started with the 97, the 31. Woo! The 24 just barely avoided this disaster. And we'll watch it again from high above. And, of course, we're watching Mark Cofield here in the 97. I'm
that's
curious
kind of
where this, what might have happened here. Oy. I don't want to be that guy, and I'm not biased because there's an Eagles logo here on the back of it. Not biased at all. But you can see this in slow-mo from here in the blimp, and the 43 just gets right into the left rear quarter panel of the 97.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've seen most of the night. Oh, the 31 machine, our leader from a majority of this race, was involved.
Yeah, Jonah Colbert, not a happy camper, as it were. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Jake Ellingson, Timothy Wilness, Chris Morse, Chuck Feltz, Jeremiah Holt. That's your top five. Pretty much the same top five we've had the last couple of cautions, as we're up to caution number 9 now. More than doubling last year's caution total here. A warning. Oh my. This just in from race control. Start cleaning it up, or he's going to start parking guys.
Oh, that's not something.
That's not something you want to hear from the race control tower.
Yeah, that's not something you necessarily want to hear.
I know I certainly wouldn't want that. That's like being told, I will turn this car around.
Oh, 100%.
We're not going to Wally World.
We're going to turn this car around.
Jake Ellingson with control of the field in the 27. Timothy Wilmus watches him drop the loud pedal, and off we go again. As Chris Morse in the 81 now hauls it to the inside underneath the 86 of Timothy Wilness. Chris Morse now controlling the low line. That's going to take some of that run away from the 86. But look at this knot of cars with the 99 of Brandon Wallace right amidst all of the mayhem. The 3 here of Michael McCarthy in the Liquid Death Machine. That just sounds like something from BattleBots. The Liquid Death Machine. As we look here at lap number 65, I got to be honest, some of this racing, we've watched a lot of hard racing tonight, and it's not even time to crank up the crazy yet.
No, I mean, we still have a lot of racing to go. Some of these guys even, haven't even made well, I can't say some, I should say one guy hasn't even made a pit stop yet from the beginning of this thing, so I wonder how far he's going to be able to stretch this out. And, if some of those guys that were down, lap 54 or 45, are they going to need to come back down if we get a certain amount of cautions?
Well, I used to, whoa boy. The 87 getting a little wild there, at least maybe a little bit too wild for my taste. As Eddie Smith hauls it right underneath the 33 of Tyler Justice. Smith starting to wash up toward him, but they keep it moving forward as we come into turns 1 and 2, setting ourselves up for a great drag show down the backstretch. Each of these drivers has put a lot of work in here tonight. And as we start to see the 33 of Tyler Justice lose a little bit of ground to Eddie Smith, you have to start to wonder if this green flag run extends itself to something. Whoa! Easy there, big fella. That was Eddie Smith looking up at the monitor that he's got with YouTube running and said, hey, that's me. And went, uh-oh. You know how I know that? I used to be that driver.
I am that driver. Hey,
Sophie Markakis saying no messing about now. And
yeah,
Ray, I have the ticker running to 28. There are 28 drivers that took the green flag. She's asking, oh, I'm sorry, 20th. Yeah, it's running right now. I'm sorry if that wasn't, but it is rotating.
Eddie Smith really fighting the inside of Wallace now. I mean, he's up 16 spots, which, you know, for Eddie Smith, I mean, normally it's only a number of 2 or 3 when he's moved up positions, and that's usually, oh, big slide there from the 79 machine. But yeah, you know, he finds himself up 17 currently as he takes over the 6th place spot.
I don't know who it was, but I just heard someone's engine pop.
I heard it as well, but I thought maybe I was a little
We think you're
delirious.
A little something too. Well,
hey,
hey, what happened?
that's not nice.
Chris Morse starting to take on Jake Ellingson. Look at this battle that's suddenly broken out for the lead. The 81 of Morse deciding he's had enough of playing second fiddle to this garbanzo as he's going after Jake Ellingson. I forget where I heard that term, but I like it. It's a movie. I know that it's a movie. I'm not going to play second anyway. Second fiddle. Oh, no. It was Hawkeye Pierce. Anyway, the 81 just makes the pass. And all of a sudden, our race leader can't be any bigger of a mover. Chris Morse, plus 24, gets the Taco Bell machine to the top of the scoring pylon here on lap number 75. 25 laps to go here at Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, and this is where, you know, I was talking about, you know, when does Jake have to come down? When is Jake going to have to service that car? Hasn't been down since from when he started on pit road. You know, what's he, you know, got left in that thing right now?
Oh, there's plenty left. It's just a matter of figuring out when to use the rest of it.
And I mean, he's certainly using it to stay on the rear bumper of the 81 machine here.
Brian Frauger here having to get out of the way of all of these lead lap cars as they are literally just blowing the non-existent door handles off of that machine. As we take a look here at Michael McCarthy and everything that's going on behind him. Whoa, easy there, big fella. The 79 and the 33 have been back here exchanging paint for about 10 laps now. And they are the kids in the back of the car fighting now.
You're trying to drive from the front seat, turning, looking back, yelling at them.
Yeah, you almost look like a school bus driver. I've always wondered how school bus drivers were able to basically drive looking in the rearview mirror.
Oh, that was my grandmother. My grandmother was a school bus driver, and I got caught doing every single possible thing, and I just never understood it.
I think they have eyes in the back of their head. They really do. You know, you may ask yourself, what does a driver do once he's, you know, stuck on pit road for an extended period of time? And unfortunately, folks, we have an answer for you. And, you know, you may wonder, do you watch TV? Do you look at your phone? Sometimes you do a little bit of both, and hopefully he hears me setting this up because I don't want to surprise him too hard.
I feel like one of these days you're going to switch on that camera, and whoever it is going to be staring their eyeballs right into it. Like, they're going to be sitting there praying that you bring their camera up, and they're just going to be full face in the camera.
I mean,
I'm looking forward to it. So if anyone...
I'm
Anyone
just
on
waiting until it's an appropriate moment for me to. There we go. You know what? Not a good moment.
Oh, Chris Morris really close to the 03 machine of Frauheiger there.
Definitely not an action shot, if you will. And then a quick pull on the vape. I'm just going to give you a little bit of play-by-play here. But this is what a driver will do when their car is stuck on pit road and you're waiting for that required repair to be completed. While meanwhile, your fellow drivers out here like Brandon Wallace in the 99 is out here defending his honor. Give us a wave there if you can hear us here on YouTube.com. This is what your favorite drivers are doing while they're waiting for the car to get repaired.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, it's just waiting.
Hey!
That wait feels like an absolute eternity as you just hear the cars fly by you.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes, and believe me, I was an awful driver back in the day. So, you know, I spent a lot of time sitting on pit road watching that thing go to 30 minutes because I got taken out or I took somebody else out. There's a reason I'm better off up here in the broadcast booth.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but there is a new update that if it's damaged enough that it's not going to get back on the track, it actually says there's too much damage. Where the timer usually would be, it would say there's too much damage, and your crew chief will be like, that's it for us, there's too much damage.
Now you can tell I haven't raced since since August 24th. I was in the Coke 0400. Finished 21st. Not a bad day. After not having raced for almost a year and a half. In a field of 40.
I'm going to get you in the car again.
I'm good.
It's going to happen.
Watching here. Watch the 33 right now. Tyler Justice has just been, I don't want to say pestering everybody, but there is not a camera shot that we have of a contest on this racetrack that Tyler Justice isn't somehow involved with. Even if I want to go to the Black Rifle Coffee Cab back here, I mean, look, he can see Tyler Justice as Brandon Wallace, looking on from Odessa, gets right here to the inside of the 98. We're watching him. Whoa, the 117 nearly catching it. That's Warren Clayton. Warren Clayton down several laps and now just trying to hold it together as we work here with 10 laps to go. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for making us a part of your evening and welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones. Not a bad night overall here at Richmond. I mean, you know, we said it a little bit ago. Once that caution bug went away, things really got good here. Wow, watch the 98 of Cliff Adams hanging on to the high side. Just over top of the 73. No AM drivers in the top 6, but right now the 98 of Cliff Adams holding on to that top spot, fighting it out for the win here. Right now, as it stands, would be Adams, Holt, and Feltz, your top 3 for the AM drivers. And of course, you can see Chris Morse, Eddie Smith, and Jake Ellingson with a blanket over them here for the pro drivers. Chris Morse in the 81 Taco Bell machine, driving it like he stole it. As Brandon Wallace again here in the 99 after the 33 and the 73. These drivers, it's almost like a bad itch. They just won't go away.
They continue to find ways to work through things, and it's, you know, like you said, Wallace and Justice have found their way through things every single second of this race. It looks like Jake Ellingson finally answers the call. Went 94 laps on a pit cycle with all those cautions.
Now, here's the question you've got to ask yourself, and this is a strategic thing. Do you set yourself up here assuming that we're going to have a late race caution, and maybe everybody is thinking about fuel. I mean, most of these drivers down on lap 45, 54, 29 for Timothy Wilmot's.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly praying for that. I mean, that happens, and he's going to be pretty set up to get the wave around or the lucky dog, I would say. And,
I mean, most of these guys have managed to turn this into a one-stop race. After coming in on lap 45 for Chris Morse, he's been out there now for 51 laps. 4 laps to go now here in Virginia. And a lot of these times are starting to go yellow and orange. So, I think we might see a nice clean finish here, unless something ridiculous happens. We've seen that happen on the racetrack. 0.2 of a second between Jonah Colbert and Tyler Justice in the 33 once again. But with 3 laps to go, Chris Morse Jr. leads the way, followed by Eddie Smith and Michael McCarthy.
Yeah, Morris and Eddie Smith, a duo we're used to all season long so far, being in contention for things, both up a significant amount of spots. Morris up 24, Eddie Smith up 21. So, I mean, these guys have had to work for it tonight, especially with all those cautions and having to just kind of tick off at every second.
The popsicle sticks are down, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Chris Morse has the 81 in tow now, just behind the 24. That's the lap car of Devin Smith. He works his way past relatively easily now as Morse hauls it into turn number 3. He's going to be followed by Eddie Smith in the 87, making a run too late and not enough as the checkered flag flies. And Chris Morse Jr. picks up the pro win here at Richmond Raceway. He's followed by Eddie Smith and Michael McCarthy. While meanwhile, our AM driver, Cliff Adams, driving the 98, is going to be followed, of course, by Jeremiah Holt and Chuck Feltz on the AM podium. So a great finish here at Richmond as they get a good run here in at the end of this race after some early cautions. But Cliff Adams and Chris Morse getting ready to burn it down as the AM and Pro drivers who won their respective races celebrate.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just a show from Morris and Eddie Smith, showing how it doesn't matter where you start. It's all about where you cross for the checkered flag. And, I mean, they put in work to get up to those spots. It's not a start from the pole, run the whole race and win. I mean, they had to find their ways through the field, with cautions and little bits of moves on the small green flag runs to get there.
It was a really good green flag run here to finish it, and one of the things that I've got to wonder is, was that threat from race control earlier heeded well?
Oh, absolutely. I know everybody probably went, oh. They had that little bit of a clench moment where they all knew they needed to get their stuff in gear.
You bet your boots they did. As we're waiting for all of our drivers to come in, I'm going to get a hold of Cliff Adams. He's going to be our AM winner. Hey, Cliff, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Hey, Cliff, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on being the AM winner tonight out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. I mean, what a race. Cautions, well, plenty of cautions early, but a nice clean finish to this race. What did you have going on down there in the racetrack, and how do you find yourself finishing up here in 6th?
Well, it kind of hard to get everything rolling in the beginning with all the cautions and trying to get some heat in the tires so I could try to get a good long run. I was pretty good on the longer run, and when I took those fresh tires, I think that was the best call at that time, and I was able to drive around them there at the end.
Yeah, sometimes when you're looking at those early cautions, and I know that it crossed our minds here in the broadcast booth that sometimes you just can't get enough heat in those tires. So it seems like until you are able to get out of traffic and get some laps on those cars, you know, it seems like you can never get started until all of a sudden you look around and you go, oh, it's been 50 laps.
Yeah, it takes a handful of laps to get the tires warmed up so you could actually start driving the car and make decisions and trust the car and trust the tires and stuff. But good run there at the end. Good battle with some of them guys. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we love watching you guys battle it out week after week, and what a great run you had tonight. As you are our AM winner of the evening, and to finish things out, who do you need to thank and who do you owe a shout-out to for this performance?
Well, I'd like to thank Glove Station for sponsoring this series first and foremost. And, you know, we appreciate that, and I'd like to thank you guys, SRM Broadcasting, for putting on the broadcast for us, and all the guys behind the scenes at Goat Locker. Yeah, all the admins, race officials, everybody behind the scenes that make it happen here at Goat Locker is great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was certainly a ton of fun to watch you guys, and you know, I'm sure we'll probably be seeing some of you guys fight for this these top podium spots and maybe even for a win.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to come in there one night and pull an upset and get a podium or a win, you know, from the pros. But this amateur thing is pretty cool battling these guys.
Yeah, you guys have a ton of strength within that AM field, and I certainly see one of you guys breaking through, and it's gonna be fun to watch, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And up next, we're going to bring up our third place finisher on the night, Mike McCarthy. Jordan in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Hey, man. So you find yourself in some trouble throughout some of that early section in the race, you know, cautions and everything like that, and you know now you find yourself sitting on the podium tonight in third place.
Yeah, just at the beginning, when I started from the rear on an EOL. And got caught up in some nonsense right at the start of the race, and then, just picked my way through the track. And then that last restart, got some tires, or that one of the last cautions, and that seemed to, get me my third place because I got it back in the top 5, and then some of the guys had a pit for who stayed out. So the name of the game is strategy.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask next. Is when you come into a race and it ends up having a more of a consistent caution basis, how difficult is it to, kind of pick and run with a strategy there?
It's the hardest decision to make. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? It's do you want tires, you want track position? Which one do you want? I'll tell you which one I want. After 40 laps, I want the tires, right? And the gas. But, when you have cautions every other minute, it's hard to, it's a difficult call. The amount of races that have been won and lost for making that call is astounding.
Right, and it's one of those things you don't know the winning call until you're standing in victory lane. But
for sure,
a podium is a certain confidence booster. It puts you in the right direction, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people you got to thank for tonight's performance.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to big shout out to my beautiful wife. It's her birthday today. So thanks for letting me do some iRacing on your birthday. I want to shout out iRacing in general, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and Glove Station for making this whole thing happen. Can't thank everybody enough.
Well, we certainly want to thank you for your time, and maybe we'll be catching you on another one, brother.
Awesome. See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. As that, of course, the voice of Michael McCarthy. And who do you have next up, Jordan?
I'm going to bring in our second place driver of Eddie Smith. I believe you have him, Dave.
Eddie Smith, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave and Jordan. How y'all doing?
Fantastic. Listen, first of all, love the paint scheme tonight. Brought me all the way back to when I was about 8 years old. watching the original Family Channel. Like, fantastic, man. Great paint scheme.
Yeah, thanks, man. Me and Jonah Colbert, who's also in this race, he's an unbelievable painter, and we've been on this 1997 NASCAR kick. I'd put the 1997 car set from NASCAR up against any season ever in NASCAR. It's one of the best.
Oh yeah.
And this is a Ted Musgrave throwback, and man, what a job he did! Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just for nostalgia purposes, I remember being, I was just about 8 years old at that point, and watching the original Batman movie from the '60s on the Family Channel because my dad was so cheap. I mean, thrifty. He recorded it on VHS, and I remember having to edit out the commercials and stuff. But man, what a great race you had tonight! You finished second. You're up 21 spots from where you had qualified after 23rd. How did you get through all of the mayhem? I mean, was it all state or what was the deal there?
Yeah, well, I started from the pits because I wrecked Brett Bieber last week and didn't really turn out to be much of a penalty. We were able to get caught back up and, being patient. I think I passed one car at the initial 30 laps of the race and somehow was in 10th. Just a lot of dodging. I've been on iRacing for a while, so I feel like I've really worked on my wreck avoidance on officials throughout the years, and it really came in handy tonight. Just dodging wrecks, making sure you don't get run over, make the right calls. Brake it when you need to, gas when you might need to drive through something, and it saved me. And I got up through the field, man, and of course that dang 81's up there, and I saw that Ellingson hadn't pitted for 77 laps and had fresh tires, was able to get up through the field a second time after we pitted. And, it was awesome. Fun. Everybody raced me clean. It was awesome to race with these guys every single week. And got up there, was able to get around Jake. He was nice enough to let me go since he had to pit. And it was all about trying to run down Chris. And I tell you what, Chris, man, he's unbelievable. I couldn't get around him. He was too good tonight.
Yeah, it's always really cool when you're out there, and even in your own mind, you think to yourself, "Man, as much as I want to get up there, you know when you don't got enough." And sometimes that makes for a really safe driver overall. So great thought for you there. Congratulations again on the P2 finish. Now, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank, and who helped you get it done in the 87 crew tonight?
Well, I gotta thank my family for watching. It sounds silly, having people watch your virtual races, and maybe in some ways it is, but it's hard to describe, even as a 37-year-old man, how much I appreciate my family, my grandmother, my aunt for watching. It really means a lot. So I want to thank them. Love y'all. Happy to race against my dad. Want to thank him for racing and coming in here with me every night. And then want to thank Jam Printing Promotions. I got to thank Glove Station, man. So excited to talk to Chris from Glove Station coming up Thursday on Goat Talk. Gotta thank them. I hope that the race was good for them. They think they were watching tonight. So if you need some gloves, go check out Glove Station, man. They are one of the newer sponsors here at Goat Locker. We're so excited to have them. And if you need some gloves, go out to Goat Locker sponsors first. They deserve it, and we're happy to have them. Got to thank y'all for broadcasting, man, and Alexander PCs.
Yeah, absolutely. A big tip of the cap to Glove Station. I run in my day job, I run a 291-unit apartment complex, and I was just looking at their website for, basically getting my guys outfitted with some new stuff. So absolutely big thank you out to them. Thank you, Eddie, of course, and congrats on your P2 finish.
Hey, thanks, guys. Congrats to Chris, too.
Thank you, sir. That, of course, the voice of Eddie Smith. And last but certainly not least, our race winner, Chris Morris Jr. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Dave, where were you guys last week? I didn't see you.
Oh, I was here. I was right here.
Must have been my fault. That's right.
I can tell you this much. My butt was right here in the seat where it belongs.
Well,
listen,
good.
man.
I must have missed you.
Listen, man. Fantastic finish tonight. And, overall, I got to tell you, watching the 81 plow through everybody and climbing up 24 spots was impressive tonight. And you did it kind of like a ninja. You just, crept through everyone. It's not like you were making crazy moves. You were just picking them off one at a time.
Yeah, man, I had an EOL from the wreck I got in last week at Phoenix. I was trying to save the car like a hero, and I should have held the brakes. So I got an EOL for that, no argument. I deserved it. But from there, it was kind of just conservative mode tonight. And I know all the cautions probably weren't a lot of fun to watch, but they really helped me out because I didn't have to do a whole lot of passing until I got up into the top 10. And then somewhere around the middle, we got a caution, and I just thought, man, I'll pit now. Hopefully they'll settle down a little bit. I think we got like 2 more, and then none, and it just it worked out for the old Taco Bell Chevrolet.
Yeah, I know Race Control came over the radio and said, hey, listen, guys, cut it out or I will turn this car around. What does that do for you as a driver as far as motivation? I mean, I know that you personally were really disciplined getting around this place tonight, but what does that do for the general feel for the other drivers on the track when that announcement is made?
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. I was already trying to be on my best behavior because I didn't want another EOL. But I know as soon as I heard that, my thought was it's time to go because now everybody else is going to stop being crazy, which gives me kind of an opportunity to take advantage of it a little bit. So, yeah, I can't speak for anybody else. But when I heard that it was go time,
Hey, man, I absolutely get it. And a great strategy, and obviously all of that strategy, played out tonight just perfectly for you. Before we cut you loose, who helped you get it done here on the 81 team tonight, and who do you got to thank for getting you to victory lane?
yeah, man, I got to thank Glove Station, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. I should just name all of them, shouldn't I? Right? Jam Printing and Promotions, Alexander PCs, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, iRacing for putting on, the whole sim. We can't do it without them, right? Bacconi Setup Shop because I love the Gen 4, and these guys are killing it with these setups, whether it's the ARCA car or not. Like, there's plenty of power. It's sliding around. It's not just stuck to the ground. I mean, you saw the yellows, right? So they're killing it with that. You guys are putting on the broadcast. Pat, Jamie, Jake, everybody who's putting on Go Locker because it's a lot of fun. I know if you're watching it, you guys are watching it, and you're going, it doesn't look all that great sometimes on nights like tonight, but most of the people who run here are veterans. They're not people who grew up gaming. They're not people who, I've been doing this forever now. So just, cut those guys some slack. It's an honor to run in this league.
Not only do you find it an honor to run in this league, but we find it an honor to be up here in the broadcast booth. And we appreciate you and the show that you guys put on tonight. Congratulations on the win. Of course, we'll see you next week. And go ahead and celebrate with the team, man.
That's the plan, man. You bet you'll see me next week. I don't even know where we're going. I'll have to look into it.
It's going to be a long week. I'll see you then. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
That, of course, the voice of Chris Morse Jr., driver the number 81 and your race winner on the pro side tonight. Jordan, what a race we had. Thanks for carrying that as, of course, my preamp decided that it wanted to take a nap. Literally, it just took a nap. Love that for me. But, first off, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of their evening. And we're going to take one final look at our results from here at Richmond Raceway. Bringing home the checkered flag, as we had mentioned, was Chris Morse Jr. We just got done talking to him. Eddie Smith and Michael McCarthy joined him on the podium. Josh Lokovitz gets the 79 into 4th position, while the 86 of Timothy Wilmus finishes in 5th. Cliff Adams brings home the AM checkered flag tonight in the 98. And Jonah Colbert, Tyler Justice, Brandon Wallace, and Jeremiah Holt round out your top 10. Chuck Pegleg Feltz comes home in 11th position, while Alan Smith and Jamie Libke come home 12th and 13th. Sean Pope McCarthy comes home in 14th, while Jake Ellingson, Josh Unger, Chris Sawyer, and Mark Cofield, Casey Jones, and Devin Smith make up your top 20. And the best of the rest, Warren Clayton, Brian Froheiger, John Huchin, Sky Shrek, who had some rough times tonight, finishing in 24th position, David Calvert, Andrew Carnes, Doug Ellingson, and, of course, our friend Tanner Bethea, finishing in 28th tonight after just 7 laps. And a rough night for Tanner as, not everybody, as that one snuck through here, not everybody could, get there into the top 5. And unfortunately, finishing dead last tonight was Tanner Bethea. But there's always next week. That's what we've been saying in my household for years as we've waited for the Cowboys to bring home a Super Bowl, unlike your Philadelphia Eagles last night. So another tip of the cap to you, young man. And For myself, Dave Regal, and of course my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockell, we want to thank all of you for making this a part of your evening. We want to thank our sponsors like Glove Station, Above the Yellow Line, Save 22, and everybody else who supports Goat Locker Racing. And folks, remember to head on over to Goat Locker Racing and make sure to donate to them. And of course, all of that money goes right to a great fund, a great cause here on iRacing. And you know, what an incredible community that we have the privilege of being a part of every week. So once again, folks, want to thank all of you for tuning in. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.